3 tips that I want to give you for today, right? How do you master the fundamentals of coding? Before making any important, significant decision of your life, first ask yourself, why are you taking that decision?
Hello guys, I welcome all of you to be a part of India's first late night tech webinar, which we call Saturday Night Gyan with Pramit Bhuyan. Before moving forward, I'll proceed with a short intro of our mentor, Mr. Pramit Bhuyan. So, being an IIT alumnus, he's currently working at Amazon and he's a software architect there. He has also worked with Microsoft for more than 10 years and has also bagged a patent under his name while working with Microsoft. So, guys, I request all of you, please mute yourself and don't do any childish act like annotating on the screen because since all guys are mature enough and I hope you all will enjoy this session and please be interactive throughout the session. So if you are excited, hit the chat box with word excite. Come on, guys, be active.
Hey everybody, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Awesome. So we will be starting in a couple of minutes. We will be starting in a couple of minutes. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Guys, keep hitting the chat box with word excite so that I
Okay.
can understand ki all of you guys are really excited for the today's late night session. Please be
Okay.
interactive
We are
and be
typing
active, guys.
exciting. Awesome.
Otherwise, you will miss something really important.
Thank you, Ayush. for keeping the session interactive. So guys, we will start in exactly a couple of minutes. Let's give a few folks who might be on their way to join. So we begin in exactly a minute or two. In the meanwhile, while we are going to begin, what we will do is, can everybody respond in the chat box and write their name as well as where they come from, their place. Just, it's a short introduction. Let's do that. In the meanwhile, Ayush, can you please give me permissions to share my screen?
Sure, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Anshad, Sheshtansu, Arjun, Krishna, Akarsh, Ravina, Dipanshu, Lohit, Amjad, George, Ishika, Vishwash, Sahil, Neil, Mihir, Samarth, Shankhanil. Welcome again. I'm seeing a lot of names repeating. So welcome again. And those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Pragati, Amit, Ankit, Ziad, Kritika, Akash, Rose, Vishnu, Amit, Pankaj, Saurabh, Shruti. Awesome. So guys, welcome. I think it's already 11:03. We shall begin, and let's hope that people who will join in, they will join in time. Okay. So Shubham.
Sorry
Awesome.
to interrupt,
Welcome.
sir. Sir, I just want to make an announcement.
Sure.
Guys, please do join with your original registered name. If you haven't, just rename yourself and rejoin. Because we have something special really for you guys, like waiting. So yeah, be there with your original name so that we can
Awesome. I think.
identify who you are. Thank you, sir. Sir, you can proceed. Yeah.
Sure. Thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Ayush. And welcome, I see Shubham and Krishna Priya. Awesome. So, guys, thank you for introducing yourself. This is Pramit. I have been a software engineer for a long time now. Initially, I was with Microsoft for about 10 years, where I worked in the Visual Studio team, Azure team, Windows team, and the CRM team. Right now, for the last little more than a year, I'm a software architect with Amazon, specifically in the fintech team. Welcome, Binesh. Awesome. So nice to meet you all. I know we are here for a specific topic. And before those who are new, right, Sumit, welcome. Nazal, welcome. Sumit from KGPOK, my alma mater, which is good to see somebody. So guys, I'll quickly take a minute to talk a little bit about this whole Saturday night evening. This is a casual session I'm hosting every Saturday evening. We try to keep it regular. And if you have not gone through our previous webinars, if you did not get the chance to join, feel free to visit the YouTube channel of MFL Edu Club and go through the videos, right? Specifically one video, the first one or was it the second one, where we talked about the principle of why and then what and then how. And we keep referring to that principle in all our videos because that's my fundamental rule that I advise all the students. So if you haven't got a chance to attend that webinar, I urge you all to go at least view that video, right? Because you'll see that today also I'll keep referring to that principle that I very strongly believe in. And I believe all of you should follow that. So welcome, Nazal, right? Okay, so guys, I'll be sharing my screen in a second. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Awesome. So guys, those of you who've joined just now, welcome. This is Pramit, and we will be discussing today about coding. I'm hoping that most of you are students. Some of you might not be. That's okay. So today we want to discuss, and I will uh, share my knowledge and wisdom with you, but at the same time we will keep it interactive. I also want to hear back your experience, your thoughts, your agreements, disagreements. So let's keep it interactive, okay? And we will keep it casual. Let's not make it formal at all. It's not your classroom. So feel free to ask me anything you want. Feel free to share your thoughts with us, okay? So hopefully we've got an introduction. I have introduced myself. I am here seeing the introductions of some of you in the chat box. And hopefully you got a gist of what this webinar is about, right? We have it every Saturday evening. It's a casual discussion. And I am hosting this webinar for a specific reason. I believe that in India, right, our students are not getting good guidance, because of which what is happening is they are not planning their career well enough. And that's a big problem, right? They are not dreaming big. We in India are not dreaming big, and that's a big problem, right? And I want to solve it in my way, in whichever way I can. And that's the reason I'm hosting this webinar, where I share as much wisdom as I can. And we've had sessions on how should you plan your career, what are the biggest mistakes that students commit while they plan their careers, right? So if you have not got a chance, is my voice not audible, guys? Can anybody respond on chat? Because Amba is saying the voice is not audible to her. If it is audible, okay, okay. So maybe Amba, maybe it could be a problem on your side. Just check once. Okay, awesome. Thank you everybody for responding. Yeah, so I'm very passionate about. So this is one of my motivation, that I want students in India to plan their careers well, to get good guidance, and to dream big, right? And to have good fundamentals. And that's why I'm urging everybody to go and watch that video if you were not in that webinar. First why, then what, and only then how. You know, if you apply that, then you will first select a domain. You will not first learn coding at all. First select a domain. You will then select how do you want to tackle that problem in that domain, and only then you will go and learn coding. So that's a little bit of why, and then what, and then how we will discuss in today's vision also. Okay, so let's begin today's vision then. Okay, so if you can see my screen, these are the broad topics that we will cover today, right? First of all, we'll spend around 10 odd minutes or maybe 15 discussing what is coding, because I want you to get a view of what is coding, because many students have that misconception. They don't know what is coding, right? Or they don't think about it. Let's put it this way, right? What is coding? How can we have a good definition of what is coding, right? Then we will go into how should you create a solid foundation of the basics of coding, right? We will go a little bit into different types of languages. We will go into a different concepts, right? And then we will go into a little bit into, I'll share some tips as to how should you master the basics. Okay. Okay. And then maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes, we will focus on how can you learn advanced coding. So I'm assuming many of you are in different stages of coding. So we will dedicate some time discussing what is advanced coding really, because there again, I believe many students' concepts are not very clear, right? Or for that matter, we have never envisioned. For example, when I myself was a student, I probably did not even have a vision of what is advanced coding. What are the next stages? As I keep learning coding, after 10 years, what will really I do? Will I be like solving Dijkstra's algorithm in 2 minutes? Is that advanced coding? Or what exactly is it, right? So we will discuss that a little bit. With that, let's move forward. Okay, so now A question to all of you. In your own words, when you, for example, when you came to this session with the intent of learning how to code well, or understanding how to learn coding well, what was there in your mind? Can I request everybody to kindly mute their mics? So what was there in your mind? What coding really means to you? Feel free to respond on the chat box. What does coding mean to each one of you, right? Let's see. Okay, I'm waiting for responses, guys. What does coding mean to you? Amit is saying to solve real life problems. Very good. We will come to that. Any other response? What does coding mean to you? Krishna is saying, welcome back. Krishna, math instructions, writing in computer, understandable. A very good definition. Very, very good definition. George saying to make programs, to make every process in the form of algorithm. Okay, okay. Sumit is saying write programs for computer to solve a situation. Good. Somewhat in the lines of what Krishna also said. Arjun is saying convert our ideas to computer. Good. Right. Saurav is saying welcome back, Saurav. Set of instructions for computer to solve a problem. Good. Irene is saying art of solving mathematical problems with the help of computers. Good. Use of algorithms. Good. Making computer. Dipanshu is saying making computer to perform something. Finishing teaching to computer. Okay. Pragati is saying to make work easily. Okay. Automate. That is. Akash is saying the solution to a given problem using any language. Good. Using any language. I like that. And we will discuss a little bit about that. Shankar is saying coding is a solution to a repetitive yet significant problem. Okay. Interesting take. Automate repetitive tasks. Krishna is saying make computer do what we want to. Okay, okay. Krishna Priya is saying coding means using the programming language. Okay, one aspect of it. Neil is saying coding is a mental game of solving problems. Okay, Lohit is saying coding set of lines which are intended to solve a particular generic problem should be highly. Kartikeya, welcome back. A specific language used to interact with computer. Amit is saying to create user-friendly interface. Another interesting aspect, right? Samarth is saying to solve problems with even maths can't solve. Okay, different perspective. Saurav is saying solving real-time problems by applying certain logics. Shahasransu is saying translating instructions to solve. So bear with me, guys. I want to read out everybody's responses. So bear with me, right? Because it's a two-way interaction, right? Aman is saying solving any problems in easy manner. Okay. Coder is saying nice name. Protect data in a way it can't be difficult. Okay, that's the security aspect of it. Kritika is saying welcome back. Coding means using programming language to get the computer to behave as it desired. Okay. Shankar is saying coding is a logic bridge between a computer and a human. Good. Kshitij is saying is a medium of communication to computer. Very good. So see, all of you have something in mind. Now today's session will be around can you improve on that, right? Or let's also first discuss. So next slide I'm going to present. It's not like we're presenting slides, by the way. It's just for our guidance to guide our discussion well, right? So like you, from your responses, right? What you are seeing is that coding might mean a slightly different thing for everybody, right? Is it making sense? Some people see it as, can I automate a certain repetitive tasks? Some people are thinking, can I communicate to the computer to do whatever I want? Somebody is saying, can I solve math problems easily using computer because I don't want to solve it by myself? Right? So different use cases. And somebody said user interfaces, right? So what I have done, if you see the screen, that I have mentioned a few different use cases as well as paradigms. For example, object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm, right? We will discuss a little bit about their concepts also, not in detail. Functional programming, right? A recent paradigm, right? So, can I request everybody to kindly mute themselves? Okay. So, app development. It's a recent phenomenon, but it's an application, right? How can I do something so that everybody can do certain things on their mobile phone? A recent phenomenon, but a very important application. Now, 10 years or 15 years ago, there was no concept of app altogether, right? So now, as you code, as a student, you have app development as a very important application. Similarly, somebody mentioned user interface. It's been there for a while, but again, a very important aspect. It will remain an important aspect, right? Again, there are different user interfaces. Like I can interact using a screen, I can interact using my voice, I can interact using a hologram, right? Different. So the important fact is this, and scripting. How many of you guys actually have done any scripting? May I respond in the chat box, please? How many of you have done any scripting? And how many of you have some idea what is scripting? If you don't have any idea, feel free to say no. Little bit, okay. Dipanshu is saying little bit. Akash is saying no idea. Then shell scripting, Saurabh, good. Krishna is saying little bit. Python scripting, no idea. Somewhat. Sumit is saying no idea. Aman is saying no idea. Hiren is saying no idea. Anshad is saying no idea. Mohammed is saying, Amjad is saying no idea. Monisha is saying so good, right? So today I'll write in the second section. I'll share 3 tips with you. 3 tips, and this is 1 tip, right? So next time when I ask you this question, your answer should not be no idea, and that is 1 tip. We will discuss that tip a little bit when we get there, right? Thank you, everybody. Debesh, Ayush, Akash, Krishna, Arjun, Ankit for responding, and we have missed a few other names. So important thing is this, right? A few important things. So if you look at the screen, notice few things. One is there are different concepts. How many of you, by the way, know that what is object-oriented programming versus what is functional programming? How many of you know? Keep it interactive. Respond fatafat, yes, no. Okay, George is saying no, no, I know, good. I know, no idea. Yes, yes, I know. Okay, okay. Good. Good to know. I know only about OOP, which is very good. See, so the important thing is this, that you know about, so I'm sure that at this stage, it is highly likely that even if you know a little bit about object-oriented programming, even if you know a little bit about functional programming, you may not know about a lot of things therein, right? For example, maybe you might not have used builder pattern, or you might not have used, some of you might have used singletons, the basic patterns, right? Factory patterns or adapter patterns, facade, or iterators. Most likely you would have used. In functional programming, you might not have used monads, you might have used some other constructs like lambdas, right? Function pointers, or so there are lots of concepts in every language. Some of you might know, and some of you might not know. So first, let's recognize that, and we will go into detail, right? How can you know? First of all, whether should you try to know, and second, if you try to know, how can you know? We'll go into the second section, right? So first, we're still defining what is coding. So understand there are different types of coding. User interface coding has totally different aspects. App development has a totally different aspect. Again, paradigms like object-oriented programming, functional programming are different aspects, right? You don't need to know all of this, by the way. Again, scripting. So I was asking scripting because scripting is, I urge each one of you to learn scripting. If some of you already know, if you don't know, then I urge you to learn scripting. If I was doing some scripting earlier today, let me see if I can quickly share that with you. And that's just an example of how you can use scripting in your daily life, right? Let's see if I can share that to you in a second. Okay. So I hope all of you can see my screen, right? So this is VS Code opened here. This is a simple script, right? It's a PowerShell script. It's a very, very simple script. See all it is doing. From mail, this is my mail. I have changed the password, right? Some random pass I have put here. And see, it is using SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, SMTP server of Gmail, and some other settings. and all it is doing is at the end, it is trying to send, to do some sort of sending, right? You don't need to understand this script at all, but you can see that if I execute it, right? If I just execute it, see, I was executing it earlier in the day. Now, if I execute it, it is printing here. We'll now try to send the mail and it will do something there. Okay. Now I will share Wireshark. So see, this is a simple script, right? A really simple script. In your daily life, you can use this script. The command that I just executed will actually send a mail. Can I request everybody to mute themselves? See. So if you can see, this is Wireshark, right? So in Wireshark, see, this is a packet that this is my source, my IP. It is sending a packet to smtp.gmail.com, if you can see. And then Gmail's SMTP server is sending something, most likely because the password was random, most likely it would say something that like wrong password. We'll not go into detail of that. But this is basically, Wireshark is nothing but observing packets that are going out of my my computer and coming back to my computer, right? So I'm just playing around with this script, and I wrote this 10 lines of code, and I can customize it a little bit to send mails. And another application that I'll tell right away, like if you, for example, script, right? Maybe we will have a dedicated session on scripting as well. But think of the use cases that you can apply for scripting, right? You can, for example, one use case that I can immediately think for this this script itself, I can automate sending birthday mails to all my friends, right? Create a file where store all your friends' name and their birth dates, and automate a script which will run every day. If the date matching is today, send a happy birthday mail to them, right? And you can automate a lot of tasks using scripts. So scripts are things which don't need to compile. There is nothing, I didn't compile anything, right? You just write and execute, and it will do some sort of things. And earlier, like somebody said, shell scripts or even command, right? A command prompt script, batch script that is in Windows. So these were very rudimentary scripts, but over the time, scripting have evolved, and Python, Perl, Ruby, or even PowerShell, very powerful scripting methods, right? For example, PowerShell, in PowerShell, you can actually use any .NET framework class also. You can actually embed .NET code in PowerShell. So imagine how powerful that scripting is, right? So if any of you is not using scripting in your daily life, I highly recommend you guys to learn scripting, okay? And we will go into use cases of which language should you learn, but that in the second section, right? So at this point of time, okay, there were some questions in the, which scripting languages should we learn? Ankit is asking, which scripting language should I learn? You can learn PowerShell. I can personally vouch, it's very good, but all the modern scripting languages are very powerful, right? So you can write Python or Perl. Even shell scripts are a little less advanced, but PowerShell. So any of these works. I hope that answers your question, Ankit, right? Okay. So, and it's Wireshark, yeah. And you can also use Message Analyzer or Netmon, which is another packet observing tool, right? Maybe because I'm very passionate about networking, maybe I'll have a separate session for networking problems, right? How can you learn computer networks? So Amit is asking a good question. What is the use of scripting in coding? So maybe I tried to cover it, but maybe it didn't get across. You can automate a lot of your daily things by doing scripting. Like, what is my file size, right? If my file size in my computer is exceeding certain limit, send a mail to my email. Or what is my directory size. If the directory size is exceeding 100 GB, create a new directory and start move some copies there, some folders, files there. Things like that you can automate using scripting, right? Or like one example I said, where you can send automated birthday mails to your friends. I hope that gives some idea of what scripting is. Does everybody here now got an idea of what scripting is? Amit and everybody else? Krishna is saying yes, good. Krishna Priya is saying yes. Yes, more or less. Okay, exactly. So Vishwas, it's not like I want to go into detail. In fact, like I said, we can have a dedicated session on scripting where we can write a few scripts, but the intent is to get you some idea, right? For example, when I was a student, I had no clue what scripting was. I had never used scripting. I had run some command for batch commands, but that's about it, right? Okay. Okay. So we understand coding means different for different people, and we also understand we understood a little bit about what scripting is. And but then let's also understand one thing. A lot of you said it's a language for us to communicate our ideas to a computer, right? I want to go a little bit into this because it is important, right? Now, with that, right, can everybody write their first preference of language? What is their first preference of language? Which language is their first preference? Let's write everybody on chat. C++, Java, Java, C++, Python, Python, Java, C++, Java. Okay, okay, got it, got it. So everybody has some, right? Now, quick question, another question, right? What is your first language? Like the one you speak. What is your first language? Can everybody respond? What is your first language? Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Hindi, Odia, Marathi, Malayalam, Telugu, Hindi, Sanskrit, awesome, Malayalam, Odia, Marathi, Odia, Malayalam, right? So now, see, so actually for a lot of us, Marwadi, which is good. Thank you everybody for responding. So, and why am I asking this, right? Why am I asking this? Because it has an important meaning. Because now everybody said that they have some first language, right? We will think about whether your choice is right or not, because that is important, right? If I want to go to Bombay, like if I want to develop user interface, right, and I'm learning Java or I'm learning Python, then you're going in a very different direction, right? So it's important, and Bhojpuri, right? So good, but so it's super important to understand that I have my first language is, let's say, English, right? Or if I consider a state as a person, let's say Maharashtra's first language was predominantly Marathi 100 years or 200 years back from now, everybody knew only Marathi, right? But now, let's say 60% people know English to some extent. Why do they know English? Why are they learning English? Because it has some real life application, because it's an international language, because it enables them to get jobs or whatever, right? Because there is a use case. So if there is a use case, a state, if I consider a state as an entity, then a state in 100 years, before 100 years, it knew only one language, Marathi, right? And slowly it is learning a new language called English, right? And it is, if a state over 4 generations is learning a new language, so there is a use case where we need to, as a student, we may need to learn different language. In fact, that is the greatest point that I'm going to make towards the end of the session, right? But understand this, right? We will go to the properties of language, where I will ask you specifically to choose a language. But while we want to go there, let's interpret our own languages, right? Let's see the differences between our natural languages. If you know English, the is an adverb, right? Or any adverb, very, like very good, very, the great state, right? There is no gender. For Striling, for women also it's the, for men also it's the. Similarly for in Hindi also adverb, does not have a gender. Bahut is bahut, bahut acha, bahut achhi, but bahut is bahut, right? But in German, adverb has a gender. The for female is die. The for male is der, der, der. The for Napunsakling is das. Volkswagen is das Auto, right? So it's plural, right? So adverb has a gender in German. Similarly, in Hindi, adjectives have a gender, like acha, achhi, right? But in Bengali or Odia, adverbs don't have gender. We say bhalo or bhalo. That's it. So ladka is also bhalo or bhala, and ladki is also bhalo, right? So see what I'm trying to point out here. You have a first language, whatever that is, but it has some properties. You are married to that property. You use that property. That may be a good property, that may be a bad property, right? But because that you've inherited, now you saw that English has a different property. Maybe a property that it's very usually applicable, maybe a property that it is simple to learn, maybe a property that it has only 26 letters as opposed to 54 or whatever letters in Hindi, right? So it has a different property. And given the property, you are adopting that language. You are analyzing the property, right? And that is where we will come in the second section. I want you to know the properties of all the languages. We will discuss some properties, but it is important that instead of saying my first language is C++, my first language is Java, you have not inherited your language from any parent, right? Your natural language you have, but computer language is you have to choose. So before choosing your first computer language or first programming language, know the properties. It is super duper important. Okay. So we will see we will discuss some properties, and then I will ask you, based on your property, what should be your first language, right? We'll do that. Okay, so I hope that all of us agree that there are different languages and each language has some different property. And many of us, let's also accept, because at least during my student days, I did not know many of the properties. I'm sure you guys have definitely more knowledge because of the exposure, right? You probably know like what is scripting used for, which language can I use for big data analysis, which language can I use for ML modeling, which language or framework can I use for animation, which language can I use for cloud infrastructure management, which languages have good object-oriented paradigms or support, which languages have good functional programming support, right? Which languages are used for Android app development, which are languages are used for user interface. So you have some idea. In fact, we will discuss a little bit more on this also in the second section. Okay. Okay. Now, and this is also important aspect. This is very important, right? While we want to define coding, learn this, that languages change really fast. Today, for example, I know you can say that, hey, yaar, I have invested 30,000 in learning Java, and you are saying don't get married to Java. So should I now throw away those 30,000 and get a divorce from Java? No, I'm not saying that. I am saying something slightly different, subtly different, right? What I'm saying, if you remember what are the languages which were primarily in use just 15 years from now or 20 years from now, right? COBOL, Fortran, ADA, C, those are like in the fashion, right? C++, those were in the fashion. So C++, if you have mastered, or even to some extent C or some assembly code, you are like hero. You will get like good architect jobs in a bit, right? But is that the case today? Because there was no app then, there was no data science then, there was no ML then, right? There was no animation then, there was no game development at this scale then, right? So because all these have evolved in the last 15, 20 years, right? Very, very recent. And with that, what has happened?
Really
Can I request everybody to mute themselves? So with that, what has happened? A lot of special languages, right? If you have to write Kafka, you have to learn Scala. If you have to write, if you want to deploy in Amazon AWS, you have to learn CDK, which is a framework supported in multiple languages. If you have to write a backend server, then you will probably go about learning Java or C# or maybe in some cases JavaScript if you are Node.js based, right? So if you are front end, then probably you will learn JavaScript, and then you'll start learning lots of frameworks on top of that, right? So, and all these are very, very recent. And what I'm trying to say here is, just 5 years from now, you will see that lots of new languages, for example, Kotlin, very good example. If you are creating Android apps, Kotlin is a very, very good choice today, right? How many of you know Kotlin or know about Kotlin? Yes or no? Yes, Krishna is saying yes. Right? Okay, good, good. It's good that to know. So what I am trying to say here is that you need to know, because languages are going to evolve like really, really, really fast, and you will see lot of different new languages coming. So what does that mean? There are two things we are learning from, we have learned from our discussion until now. Properties are important, because even though the language changes, the properties will still remain the same, or concepts will still remain the same. So focus on concept, don't focus on the language itself, because language will change, and 20 years down the line, very, very likely none of the languages that are there will be in use. Very, very likely that 20 years down the line, none of the languages. Okay, George is saying my voice is getting interrupted. Is it getting interrupted for everybody?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So George, maybe some glitch on your side. Try to correct it. Okay. Okay, so many new languages are coming, right? And 20 years from now, I am claiming that none of the languages that we are using today will be in action. So what does that say? Be prepared to learn concepts or properties of languages, and be prepared to adapt, right? You need to be on a learning, right? Right. And another two trends. And at this point of time, I am going to talk about two trends that I'm seeing and that I want all of you to be cognizant of. But before that, right? Do any of you have any thoughts around what the trends in language going to be? Feel free to respond. What is the trend in languages going to be? What languages are coming up? What kind of concepts are coming up? Feel free to respond if you have anything. Python, okay. ML, okay. Python rising really fast, agreed. I think it is overtaking JavaScript now. But anything else? Less syntax command. I will come, in fact, that is one of my points. Mihir is saying less syntax command. Easy to code language. Amit, like Python, but I'll come to another point. My point is again, less syntax, easy to code. I'll come there. Go, okay, Go. R, okay. Next version of Java, like Kotlin, good. See what happened to Kotlin. If you guys know about Kotlin, right? And if you've used it, it's basically, it runs on JVM, right? But it's very, very clean, right? So I'm not asking names, guys, of language. What I'm asking is, what are the fundas? Like what kind of languages? Like one pattern is Java had a lot of cons. So Kotlin came up, and it is being adopted in a big way, right? Because it's much better than Java, by the way. If you're learning Java, and try to also learn Kotlin. It's much cleaner, shorter code. Getter, setters, properties, all those things you can get rid of. Supports multi-variable, right? Variable number of arguments. So all supports all of those things. You don't need builder patterns in Kotlin, right? Sketch, Python is slower than C++. Okay, okay. Speed and memory efficient, good. Speed and memory dynamically computable, good, good. See, this I had not thought about, but see, nice ideas coming from you guys. Like Krishna is saying dynamically computable, more like natural language, very good. Okay, in fact, that is exactly one of my points. Easy and fast coding, okay. More libraries type language, which will be easy to call okay, okay. More flexible language or modular language, okay, okay. So Krishna is saying fast and easy to code, very easy to code. In fact, that's the next point that I have. But let's see, all right? So thank you, natural language, right? Thank you, Pragati, Krishna, everybody, right? So thank you for responding. So my gut feeling, two trends that I am seeing, right? One is auto-generated code. We have already started to see auto-generated code already. For example, lots of frameworks who recommend code. You start writing the sentence, they will recommend, right? And a lot of auto generation is already there. Maybe next session we will actually show some auto generated code, right? Because Visual Studio, IntelliJ, Eclipse, pretty much all of them have started to incorporate a lot of auto generation of code, right? And my prediction is, because what types of codes are there today, right? Let's say gaming or animation, server, backend server, front end, and front end again have few types of UI controls, right? So given at least for these common types, things are going to be completely automated. You tell maybe in a natural language or whichever maybe in a input, like what is the server you want to create, what is the technology, Bobcat or this or that. You choose one. What are the APIs you want to create, what are the arguments, what is the scale, what are the number of instances, what are the regions you want to create them in. It will take, and it will straight away go ahead and deploy it. You don't need to be in code. It is coming in next 20 years. I am 100% sure it is coming. If I want to create a new WhatsApp, I will not have to go do all that coding. It will be a thing of the past, right? All these thousands and thousands of jobs, our jobs, will get completely redundant. So be prepared for that. It is coming, right? That's one. Second is, a lot of you also said, is they are going to be easy to write. Like because I want to talk to computer, I want to tell what I want. Today I'm adhering to a lot of syntax. You have to, if I go slightly wrong, it will give me a compilation error. In Kotlin, for example, if you don't give that a semicolon, there is no compilation error, unlike Java, right? Slightly, because it's painful, right? You have to remember to give that semicolon every time. So slowly it will become very, very easy to write code, right? That's another trend. Okay. Okay. So cool. So the next is, we'll come to the 3 tips. What are the 3 tips that I want to give you for today, right? How do you master the fundamentals of coding? Tip number 1, which is where I think I was asking you, next time when I ask you, do you know what scripting means? I don't want to hear a no. I want all of you to say yes, right? Right? So what does that mean? Can you know everything about every language? No. Right? You cannot know everything about every language. It's very tough, because one language, if I want to master it, it's really tough. Then how can you learn everything about every language? But you can know the properties of languages, right? It's an achievable thing. I did not invest in that when I was a student. I maybe knew fairly well object-oriented concepts. I knew fairly well assembly code because I was into programming lots of microprocessors. I fairly understood C because we used it to follow all our assignments and all. But beyond that, we did not even venture out to know what are the properties of languages, right? But now, where do we get stuck? Like, I'm sure, because I tried that. I tried to learn a new language and I failed miserably, right? We all of us start, but we never get to beyond a certain point. Maybe we read a few pages, maybe we read 20, 30, 40, 50 pages, and after that we leave. So how many of you have experienced this? That you start to learn a language, but you are not able to follow through? Respond on the chat, please. How many of you have experienced a phenomenon where you've started to learn a language, but you have not been able to follow through? Right? So see, a lot of you can empathize with this problem, and it is a real problem, right? Okay. Ankit is asking a good question, that from where can we learn properties of all languages? I'll give you some tips, right? I'll give you some tips. That's where I'm going in. See, Samarth is saying not just with programming. That's true, not just with programming, right? But think why you are not able to follow through. You are not able to follow through because you are trying to read all the pages of that book, because you are trying to completely understand that language. And that's a tough problem, right? And I'm recommending to all of you to not even try to understand a full language and try to understand only one language. In fact, that's the next tip, right? Next tip is that completely try to understand only one language, and which language you will see, right? I'll have some tips for that as well. But the first objective that I want all of you to take back from this session is you want to know all the properties or as many properties as you can of all the languages or as many languages as possible, if not all, right? Okay. So for example, next time, let's say when you are in some session, I will ask you, do you know what is Java most usable for? Right? If, for example, I'll tell a little bit about it, but I'll not go into detail. Java, if you are into backend programming, backend, right? If you want to create servers, that's when Java will primarily, that's when you need to choose Java. JavaScript, if you want to typically go into user interfaces, websites, web apps, right? And nowadays people are starting as part of Node.js to use it as part of backend as well, right? Ramesh is asking what exactly are properties of a language. Okay. So we see coding is asking a few other languages or frameworks. Sure. Amit is also asking the same thing. We'll go there. So see, property of language is basically this. Let's actually go through some properties. Maybe that will give you some lights on what do I mean by properties, right? Java has a lot of object-oriented concepts, right? It has access modifiers, it has lots of builder classes, it has lots of object-oriented concepts inside it, interfaces, objects, right? And it has properties, it has fields, it has getters, setters, right? Where you can get some property, set some property, right? It has very good frameworks for writing server-side code, right? You can write controllers very easily. You can deal with lots of common data types like dates, time, strings, big data type, right? So you can do, and you can interact very easily with databases. You can make very easily REST calls. You can make calls to other APIs. You can do remote procedure calls very easily, right? I don't know how many of you understood whatever I said. If you didn't understand, that's fine. You don't need to, right? But in one line, if you want to master backend or server-side programming, that's when uh, I will advise you to learn Java or C Sharp, right? Or even JavaScript also is getting good adoption for even server side with Node.js coming in, right? So these are some properties. I hope you got some understanding of what are properties of a language like Java or C Sharp. All the properties that I talked about, right? Like interacting with databases is easier. Making server-side calls is easier. Making REST calls is easier. Making supporting different remote procedure calls is easier. Doing object-oriented programming is easier. So all these are supported in Java as well as C Sharp. Again, these are some properties. Let's go to JavaScript. What are some properties of JavaScript? JavaScript, you can type is optional in JavaScript. JavaScript is much easier to code, right? And type is optional again is a double-edged sword. We'll not go into detail there, just like Python, right? But JavaScript has a lot of very, very good UI side frameworks. You can, if you are into writing UI controls, like I'll write a nice website which has this very different UI control, right? JavaScript is your language because there's a very rich support for user interface, right? Very flexible, much more flexible than Java, right? Syntactically also. Similarly, if you really want it to be type based, right? Then you can also learn TypeScript, which is a language on top of JavaScript, right? So that's also an upcoming language, TypeScript. Pretty much like JavaScript, you can also embed JavaScript code in TypeScript. Similarly, if you are very much into ML, then Python. If you are right, so I hope this gives, and then there are some concepts like I talked about lambda functions. Maybe there are anonymous functions. Maybe there are monads, which are prominent, very difficult but prominent features in functional programming. There is tail recursion, again a functional programming concept, right? And maybe some of these are not making sense to you. That is completely okay. You will learn as you learn the languages. But what I'm trying to portray here are what do I mean by properties of languages. So did all of you guys get some sense of what do I mean by properties of languages? Please let me know in the chat box, please. Okay. Aman is saying yes. Samarth is saying yes. How Java and Ruby differ. Okay. So coding, today we will not go into specifics of language. The meta point is this. Maybe some other day we will. But the meta point is this. Understand the properties of the language. Right? Give some attention. Give some effort to understanding. Right? Don't go into one language and understand that properly. First, understand the properties of different languages, right? You can ask me or ask any mentor you have, ask your seniors, hey, I heard about this language. Can you tell me a little bit about Go? Why should I use Go? Or what is special about Go? Can you please tell me a little bit about it, right? Go and ask around. Go know a little bit about, so there is this famous saying, right? Know a little bit about everything and everything about a little bit, right? Know everything about something and know something about everything and everything about something, right? Okay, so coding, like I said, right now, today we'll not go into a specific language. Today we are trying to see what are the tips that you should follow to master language coding in a good way, right? So tip number 2 is apply this. So you theoretically know properties of all the languages, right? But theory is not good enough, right? Dipanshu will come there. Will come there, right? Will come there. How do you learn a language? The next section is that. Third tip is basically that. Okay. So Babita, you are asking about Node.js, but today we are not going to specifically discuss one specific language. Today we are generically discussing how do you learn any language. I hope that makes sense to you, Babita. Okay. So tip number 2 is apply your property only 2 or 3 languages. Don't try to learn 5 languages. No. Apply as in try to play around. Like I was playing around with PowerShell script, right? So try to play around with only 2 or 3 languages. Know concepts of all languages. Apply concepts of 2 or 3 languages. And how do you choose your languages? Like I said, if you're into backend, choose languages which are specific to backend. If you're into front end, choose languages which are specific to front end. If you're into gaming or animation, choose, maybe you can learn OpenGL, or you can learn game engines, right? Or you can learn WebGL, which are graphics languages, right? So there are, ask around. Hey, I'm interested in animation or game development. What are the languages that I should focus, right? So finding out languages is not a problem, right? But first, try out, decide, finalize 2 to 3 languages and only play around for 4 years, only with those 2 to 3 languages, right? Okay, aptitude rounds of top companies. Okay, so Amit, good question, but today we will not cover that, right? But maybe we will cover that in another round, right? So tip number 3, and this is the most important part. I think you were also asking, how do you learn languages, right? Chandan is asking, what is the easiest language for a beginner? You can learn C or Python. Okay, my personal preference, but no problem. Krishna is saying Python, good. Thank you, Krishna, for the recommendation. But there is no such thing as easier language, Gaurav. What I'm saying is basically that you finalize your 2 to 3 languages based on what you want to do, not based on what your friends are doing. Because I am saying C, don't go learn C. If you are really into UI, then better you invest that time in JavaScript, right? I hope that makes sense to you. Tip number 3 is the most important point, and most of the students don't do it. Okay, we start it, all of us start a personal project, but we don't finish it, right? Tip number 3, most important, recommend to everybody: pick a personal project. And how do you pick a personal project? Apply the concept of why, and then what, and then how. If you haven't watched that webinar, go watch. So basically, pick a project about which you are very emotional about, right? Which you are very, very passionate about. Pick such a project. Don't pick a project which is recommended by anybody else. Don't pick a class project just because it was advised by your professor. Don't pick a project because it was advised by your friend or family. No, because then what will happen? Or don't pick a project because you found it out during your course project, right? Because then what will happen? You'll start the project. Because you are not passionate about it, you will leave it midway. And that is bound to happen. I'm saying you from my experience, it is 100% bound to happen, right? But if you pick a project that you are really, really passionate about, find your why. Why am I picking that project? Convince yourself that this is why I'm picking my project. Let's say I want to develop my village. My village has a sarpanch, but he's very inefficient. Can I create a local network for Indian rural villages? Now that becomes your passion. You cannot abandon that project, right? You will invite others to contribute to that project, right? Dipanshu, good question, but you don't need to close on a project today. Spend 1 year, spend a few months, not a problem. Find your very, very strong why. In fact, actually, why is not difficult. But most of us don't pick our whys because we are insecure. Because we think we are completely focused on getting jobs in cushy companies, right? Good companies. And because of that, because we are coming from typically from middle class families, we are very insecure about financial returns, right? But go watch that video. I'm giving you some tips there. How should you be confident about your why? And even when you are doing a job somewhere, find your why, persist on it. For example, my why is to enable the student community in India to be much more brave, much more courageous than they are today, to take big risks to create next Microsofts and Apples of tomorrow. And we are not in a position to do that today, not because we're not capable, not because we're not hardworking, but simply because we're not courageous enough, right? So I want to enable the student community, and this is my effort towards that, right? So first, decide your personal project and use only one language. Decide a language. If you decided Marathi, right, for speaking, master Marathi, because I'll tell you one thing about mastering languages, right? Guys, will take 5 to 10 minutes extra in this webinar, but I'll tell you one thing about mastering languages. Never master a language in 7 days, 1 month, or even 1 year. Take 10 years to master a language. So when I'm saying master a language to that level, right, take 10 years. But what do I mean by master? You are one of the best in the world. That is what I mean by master. You can try to learn 5 languages and be very mediocre or subpar in all those 5 languages, or invest, go after one language. I assure you, pick any random languages that we discussed today. And there are solid solutions that are built from those languages. Solid PHP, Facebook, C# or JavaScript, C#, Stack Overflow, Java, the numerous, JavaScript, Node, Netflix, all these, like lot of these solutions, right? So pick any, so language is not a problem. Once you master Marathi, you can be a great poet in Marathi, irrespective of whoever, like there may be lots of jobs in English. Okay, you have picked Marathi, that's fine. But once you invest 10 years in Marathi, I promise you, you will become a great Marathi great poet or great author. No doubt about it. Same way, don't worry too much about the language also. Once you pick a language, you have your project in mind or you have a goal in life, go through with that language. Don't abandon that language in the middle. And importantly, as you master, right, as you master Marathi or English, anything, right, you will learn the concepts. And even if you have to switch languages, you will use those concepts, right? For example, creative, like Rabindranath Tagore, he was master in Bengali, but then he started to learn English and he became master in English because his creativity was creativity, right? Creativity does not die, right? Okay, so that is about, so this is the last topic. We will take around 7 to 8 minutes on this one, right? How to master. So somebody is asking a question. Different people have different resources, ideas of mastering. How to be selective in taking best resource? Okay, no. So I'll go back. Coding and Dipanshu, right? Pick a project. In fact, I have one line at the end of the session. I have one line. I'll leave you with it. It is basically that. In fact, let me go to that one line right away. In fact, I'll go to that one line, right? So basically, see, language is not important. Language is not important. It is important. It is important. Like if you want to do backend, you should definitely probably should not be learning Python. To that end, it is important. But if you want to learn backend, then you might be confused about Java or C#. Either of them is completely fine, right? Similarly, for scripting or for data science, Scala or Python, either of them is completely fine. But once you pick a language, follow through. And how will you follow through? How will you follow through? Okay, coding is saying you're confusing me. Okay, if you're getting confused, feel free to get back to me with questions later on also. On my LinkedIn, feel free to get me with specific questions that you might have. But one tip, pick a project, spend 3 to 4 years in that project. I promise you, you will have mastered any language you choose much more than your friends. Okay? Pick one project which you are emotionally attached to. Follow through with that project for 3 to 4 years. I promise you, you will be better at any language that you choose. How many people agree with me? How many people will do this? Respond in chat. How many people will actually do this? Respond in chat. Guys, I'm saying it's a difficult thing. And I myself wasn't able to do it. I picked up 3 or 4 projects with different professors. I remember once I stayed back in my college in Kharagpur, I took a project on image processing. So our professor shared a lot of X-rays with us, and we had to do some project to detect some cancer, right? By doing some image analysis. We spent that 1 month. Okay, we got something from professor. We abandoned that project. Why did we abandon that project? Because we were not emotionally attached to that project. So I am asking you to pick a personal project which you are emotionally attached to, and you will not abandon it. And in the process, you will learn the language like anything, right? You will learn the intricacies of the language that no book can ever teach you, right? But what is advanced coding? So next topic, we will spend around 6-7 minutes on this. What is advanced coding, right? Advanced coding, I promise you, no one of you pretty much know what is, or pretty much know for a reason. I'm not saying you can't, you could not have, you definitely, some of you might have gotten close to, but the reason is this, and I'll try to showcase it with a picture, right? So this is what, see, if you see my screen, right, this is where we are as a student. Almost all of us are learning how to lay bricks, let's say, right? Some of us are learning bricks in a little haphazard way. Some of us are starting to learn bricks in a good way. We are doing lots of coding. We are participating in competitions. We are doing good internships, right? So we are getting into a good shape, right? And we think that after some time, we will learn the tricks of the trade and we will be able to become what I'm trying to show in the below of the slide, on the bottom of the slide, right? Like I can use my skill to do things which you cannot do immediately as a bricklayer, right? But this is not advanced programming. Even when I was a student, I thought that this is advanced programming. I tried to, I would go to coding forums. I will ask, hey, how can I immediately implement a semaphore? How can I immediately implement a singleton? How can I immediately implement this, that, right? How can I create a server this way, that way? How can I synchronize? So I would ask these geeky kind of questions, and I will think that I'm becoming advanced coder. No. No, this is a common misconception. And how many of you think that this is advanced coding? Say yes or no on the chat box. Okay, some of you are saying yes, right? So see, that is not. So what are we doing here, right? I right now know how to lay bricks, and I can do nice things. I can break the brick and put it in a different shape that like nobody else can do, right? But next slide is this: what you need to think of as advanced coding. And I will give you some software examples as well. But in architecture, right, this is what you need to have a vision, right? So language is simply a tool. Language is simply a tool. Your project. In fact, I will ask you not a personal project, pick a life project. For example, my life's project is this project, which is not even software, right? My life's project is to teach you guys. And I will do it for the whole life. That's a promise that I have made to myself, right? It has nothing to do with software, more or less. It has to do with transmission of knowledge and experience and wisdom, right? So pick a life goal, pick an emotional project, right? And then have a big vision. Again, I'm talking in detail in that webinar that your dream needs to be big. Don't have a small dream that I'll create an app. That's not a dream. Have a dream that I'll educate India. Have a dream that I'll double the agricultural production of India. Have a dream that I will enable interaction among college students. Have a good big dream, right? And then, like this is one example in software. This is such a simple idea, right? In software. So these are past dreams, things people have already done it. But let's see some of good examples, right? How should your dream look like? Like when I am learning to code, when I'm learning Marathi or French or German, why am I learning? Don't learn German. Learn German with the aim that I will go and learn and do something. Like, have any of you heard about Max Muller? Right? So that guy actually learned Sanskrit, right? And did a lot of things in Sanskrit, very seminal things, right? So similarly, don't learn Sanskrit for that 98% marks. No, learn for this idea. Come up first with your project idea, right? And then learn with a motive, and then you will never abandon. Then you will find out your resources. I don't need to tell you resources. I don't need to tell you forums. Today it is Stack Overflow. Tomorrow it will be 10 years down the line. It will be something else. 10 years down the line, there was no Stack Overflow, right? Forums will change, resources will change, but your goal will never change. You will find out ways, right? So see this guy, right? Jeff Bezos. He's such a simple concept. Like sitting at my home, I can buy things. You need to follow through. That's the only thing that this guy Jack Ma did, right? When Jack Ma invited a lot of things, a lot of people disbelieved. They didn't even invest. But you need to follow through. That's the most important part. Decide your project and be vocal about it. Most of you don't share your project because you're insecure. You think others will steal. No problem. They cannot steal you because in order to fructify that project, you need to invest thousands of hours. Thousands of hours, literally, right? So they are not, because it's not their passion. They will not invest thousands of hours in that one. And you also need to overcome failures because you will hit failures, right? Another example of a good vision, big vision. IBM is empowering so many banks worldwide. Have that kind of a vision. Can I code something up which will empower so many banks, or where I can actually empower even one bank, right? This is how your dream should look like. Now, in gaming, for example, or animation, India is way behind. Right now, I'll give you 2 to 3 ideas in animation that you can go and monetize. If you follow through, you will make 1,000 crore companies. Right now, you go using virtual reality. People have already started to do all these gaming zones, right? But you go to design in architecture. People still use Autodesk, right? AutoCAD from Autodesk. Such a boring, such a nice, such a shitty. I mean, okay, it was good, but now with virtual reality, Paradigms will change. A business idea right there. And in fact, I also tried at some point of time to do something there. But feel free to share your ideas, because only they will succeed who will follow through, who will invest thousands of hours. And in those thousands of hours, you will master any language, not just one language, you will master 4 languages if you want. Okay. And then think about, for example, here, holograms or whatever, right? Think about ideas that nobody else has even thought about, right? Ramesh is saying a very good thing. Ideas can be copied, vision can't be. And I am saying ideas also can't be copied, because idea can be copied. But after copying the idea, is he willing to invest a few thousands of hours? Right? Mostly they will not be, unless they're passionate about it, right? So think about such ideas. Now, before we part, I think we're almost done. This is the last line that I was talking about, right? Don't master the tool. Tool is your programming language, right? Don't master the tool. Learn the tool. Learn one tool which you think is good for you, definitely. But don't randomly master the tool and then look for what to build. No. First decide what to build. Once you decide, I'll build a great bridge or a Taj Mahal or a great thing, right? Or maybe whatever, right? And then master whatever tool it takes. Whatever tool it takes. If it takes 5 languages, you will master 5 languages, right? And you will automatically have to go to advanced level in order to deliver on that. Okay? So with that, I will leave. But before we leave, right, I want all of you to take a minute and respond on the chat one idea or one concept or one takeaway from this session. What is that one thing that you will start doing from today? What is that one thing that you will start doing from today? Let's respond on the chat box, please. Finding a why. Good, Sumit. Come on, everybody. One takeaway. Learn properties of language. Good. Definitely for everybody. Go learn properties of language. It's very easy to learn. Watch YouTube for all you know. Krishna is saying, thinking of building a huge project. Thank you, Krishna. Saurav is saying, mastering a language. Go ahead. Pick a language, master it. Take years to master it. Accept that you will, just like English. In first 5 years, when you were in class 5, were you expert at English? But right now, you most likely are very good at English. Right? It took years, 10 years, right, for you to become very, very good at English. So similarly, for a program, but once you are good at English, you are able to communicate nicely. You are able to articulate nicely, right? Similarly, once you invest years to a language, you will be able to do really nice things with the language. First decide what to build and then master the tool. Awesome. Thank you, Ramesh. Krishna is saying, work on a personal project and keep up with. Very good, Krishna. Right? Portfolio. In fact, our next week, the session is exactly that. How to build a portfolio for yourself, right? How to decide a domain, how to plan for it, how to code it up successfully, right? And why most students don't have a personal project. So we will focus next Saturday on exactly that. Learning scripting and make automation is very good. George, Akash is saying take a project and complete it. Very good. Aman is saying find a project. Okay, definitely. Samarth is saying master something that will help me achieve my dream. Yes. Finalize your dream and then go ahead through it. 4 years, 5 years, whatever it takes. Ritika is saying thinking of a project and learn every tool required by it. Very, very good. Pragati is saying be ready to learn always new language. Yes. Don't learn new language. Learn concepts so that you can immediately learn a new language, right? Because Marathi, once you learn the concept of gender, the concept of adjective, the concept of adverb, right? The concept of verb, you can apply that to English, Hindi, Bengali, Odia, anything, right? Aman is saying learn one language and become expert in that proper language. Very good. And invest your time. Invest your time properly, right? Mihir is saying to focus on mastering language, very good. Another important point, right? Align your language with your goal. Don't randomly learn a language. Pratishruti is saying, select a personal project. Very good. Thank you. Amit is saying, definitely going to think about something which I'll not drop out of. Very good. Ekta is saying working on a long-term project which I will connected. Definitely. See, if Bill Gates can build Microsoft, right? If two guys, Wozniak and Jobs, can build Apple, you and your friend together can build the next big thing. I don't have any doubt about it. It's just that you need to be that much passionate about it, right? Karthikeya is saying, find my interest and then research on the languages required to do it. Sure, great idea. Akarsh is saying, sir, I have big dreams, proper guidance. Definitely, I am here to guide you. Always feel free to ping me on LinkedIn, ask me, or whatever works, right? I'm always here to help you guys. So with that, we will close this session. We are done with today's session. Next week, we will talk in a little bit more detail about how should you create your portfolio. I'll try to share some tips that I may have. Maybe I'll try to walk through some of the auto generation of code. So whatever tips I can share, I will share. So Naveen, contact number, because I am not very responsive on phone. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay, and feel free to ask any question that you might have. Okay. So guys, let's keep in connect. My intent is to talk to you guys, help you out, right? So I am not here to randomly give any gyan to you guys. So let's connect and feel free to ask me any questions on LinkedIn. And this is a Saturday night regular thing because I'm busy on the other days. That's why I have kept it on Saturday nights. Hope you guys don't mind. All right. So as you said, spend years in making products. Consider finances. Very good, very good. In fact, in the why and what session, right, Rakshat, we discussed why Indian students are insecure because they are financially illiterate. Go and watch that session, right? And we will definitely have a session around finances. How? Because we are very greedy. We want the best placement. And because of, that makes us insecure. We are not willing to take risks, right? It's a very good point. We will discuss finance. How much is okay? Should I do I need to be greedy? Why do I need so much money in the first 5 years? Why do I need to get that great job? Right? Why can't I invest on my project? So, but then you can't unless you have financial knowledge, unless you know how much exactly do you need to live in a good apartment, to get basic amenities in life, right? How much is okay for you? How will you do that calculation? So we will have a session on that because it is important. Right now, Indian students are not taking risks, very insecure, right? If Steve Jobs can create that company in his garage, I'm sure Indian students can do better. Indian students are much more hardworking, right? Much more hardworking and much willing to sacrifice things. But only one thing that we don't sacrifice is our livelihood and money. So we need to do better, and we will discuss this in detail. Actually, okay. We'll have a dedicated session for it instead of just talking slightly about it today. Okay, guys, that's it for session. But if you guys have any questions, so the session has ended. You guys can leave. But if any of you have any question, still, any random question, I can stay here for you guys and we can discuss that. But for others, the session has ended and feel free to go ahead and take your good night's sleep. I know it's past midnight. Thank you, Sumit. You're from KGP, right? What's happening in KGP? Invite more people and connect with me. In fact, I'll bring a lot of my friends from KGP if possible to this one so that they can share their wisdom that they've got in the last 12, 13 years, right? Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm glad. LinkedIn, just look up my name, Pramit Bhuyan, Akash. Ekta is saying starting point to long-term project. Okay, so now we are going into question answer session. Guys who want to leave. Guys who have questions, I will take questions one by one. So so bear with us. Okay, it might get a little late because I want to, like I said, I want to answer all your questions. Ekta is what
Sorry
should
to
we start?
interrupt, sir.
Yeah.
Just a second. I want to announce. Guys, I have shared all the necessary link in the chat box. Just go through it if you want to. You can share your feedback as well as if you want any topic to discuss, like you want us to discuss with you all, you can.
right? So with that, right, and pick up a social problem. Don't try to solve, let's say, CRM software or insurance software. These are Western world's problems, not our problems. Our problems are Swiggy, very good problem, right? Everybody has app, how can I order? So pick a local problem that you see around yourself, and problem that you can don't be greedy in choosing a problem, because this problem looks like I can earn, I'll go into that. No, problem that you can relate to, because you will face failures along the way, and you will persist in spite of, despite your failures, only if you are very passionate about that cause, not otherwise, right? So you know yourself, right? You can, if you want me to help out, I'll love to help out, not a problem. I'll ask a few questions about yourself, and then I can give you some suggestions, not a problem. So maybe reach out to me on LinkedIn, tell me, sir, these are the things that I like. Can you maybe give some ideas around how should I pick my project? I'd love to give you my suggestions. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Aman is saying thank you. George, thank you. Thank you, Aman. Sahaj, how much competitive programming affects the progress as compared to projects? Okay, Sahaj, good question. I don't know whether you are here or not. I am not a good proponent of competitive programming. I know it's a counter thought. I'll tell you why I don't think. So you definitely, by all means, if you love solving problems, go participate in competitive programming. But competitive programming cannot be the goal of your life, right? Competitive it can be if you want to be a programming teacher, then competitive programming can be a goal of your life, right? Otherwise, you can do competitive programming as a hobby, no problem. You learn a lot. You learn maths, you learn logic, right? You learn data structures, coding, lots of concepts, very useful. But personal project is something very different. Personal project is something that you are very emotional about, that you pick a project and do it on the side of your class. You are taking time out for personal project, right? It's a difficult thing, but you will do it. So that way, right? I'm saying, because if you want to be the next Steve Jobs, competitive programming will not get you there. For Steve Jobs, you need to find that passion, that reason, and then pursue that reason, right? Okay. I hope that gives you some sense. Okay. Okay. On self-improvement, Kartikeya, self-improvement. Can you remind me once? Maybe I'll need to think a little bit about it. Do I have enough ideas on that? And I would love to host a session. Not just remind me once in a while in LinkedIn. You had talked about maybe you can do on self-improvement. Definitely, I'd love to. I just need to collect some ideas, because I don't want to host a session on which I don't have enough ideas, right? I hope that that makes sense to you guys. Rakshat is saying, I was thinking at some point I'll feel like my project is a bit hard for me to handle it all on my. Definitely, Rakshat, don't. In fact, next session, right, we are going to discuss it in detail. Don't go into it alone as much as possible. Don't go into it alone. One of the things that we will discuss in detail in tomorrow's, in next week's session. Okay, because alone, right, it's easy to abandon. If you go in a group, it's very difficult to abandon. Don't go into it alone. Find people who are passionate about it, and then do it together. For example, if I had created videos and exact this video and shared with you, I could have abandoned those. But now you guys are attending this session, so I can't abandon, right, this session. I will have to come next Saturday evening here, because you guys are invested in this also now, right? So make it a group thing. You will persist better, right? Meher is saying in some projects, if more than one languages are involved, how to attend necessity. By all means, Meher, if that is the requirement, you have to learn 3 languages. You have to, like I said, right? By all means, but you should be passionate about that project, right? If you're not passionate, then you will not learn. If you're passionate, you will go learn easily, very easily. But find that project that you're really, really passionate about. Akash is saying first year BTech in full stack will still in demand. Full stack will always be in demand, Akash. Full stack will always be in demand. In fact, next session, right, in portfolio, we will talk a little bit about full stack. But my personal recommendation is don't try to master full stack. My personal recommendation is see what you like. Do you like UX design? Focus on UX design. You might understand basics of backend. That's fine. Similarly, if you like backend, go focus on backend. Master backend, right? If you like data science, go focus on data science. Full stack, if you try to master, I feel that, I mean, I know it's some sort of fad, but in my opinion, if you want to like be solid in one thing, like focus on one thing rather than focusing on the full stack. Okay, I hope that answers it to some extent. Sumit is saying, consider hosting a meeting on handling personal finance. I will, Sumit. It's a major topic, major problem with Indian students. So I will definitely host personal finances for fresh graduates, right? Very important topic. And I'm not claiming to be expert in that, but whatever wisdom I have, because I myself was one of those greedy lots, Sumit. So in my year, right, 2009, it was a recession. So we were like dead afraid. Kya hoga if you don't get into one of the big companies. Fortunately, I got a day one job on Microsoft, but otherwise we were really afraid because it was a recession going on, right? Just like now. But we should not be afraid. And I was afraid because I did not have financial education. I was financially illiterate, right? Which is true for most of the students. So very important topic, we will definitely host. Sahaj is, how much competitive program affects the progress as compared to projects, personal experience? I think competitive program is good if you're passionate about it, find it interesting. Just like if you're passionate about playing video games, play video games, not a problem. Go ahead and do competitive programming. But personal project is not for 2 years, 3 years. I believe personal project is for your lifetime. It might change. The project, the face of the project might change this way, that way, right? Today I'm teaching you through webinars. Tomorrow maybe I will teach you in some other means. But the project that I want to enable Indian students be much brave, much more courageous, that goal will not change. I hope that makes sense, Sahaj. Thank you, Ekta. Ramesh is saying, I want to bring AR, VR into schools. Ramesh, you are standing on a great opportunity. AR, VR are, if you create any solution, any random solution, right? If you, let's say, create a random solution, it doesn't work out. But the AR, VR skills that you learn, you will find 3 other solutions where you will apply it, and you will, in next 5 years, you will become Karodpati, one, also major influencer in Indian software diaspora. I promise you. It's just that because AR, VR is different, right? So you need to take that leap of faith. It's a risk, obviously, because if you give a lot of focus into AR, VR, maybe you will lose out on competitive programming. Maybe you will lose out on data structures and problem-solving coding, right? Those aspects of it, algorithms. Maybe you will lose out. Maybe you may not get placed in the Microsofts and Amazons, possibly, right? But then you would have focused on AR, VR. You would have created a solution, and I promise you, in the next 5 years, you will not only become Karodpati, promise, and you would have become, even if you fail, by the way, you might fail first or second time, quite possible, in fact. But through your failure, you will then understand, okay, these are the real world problems, right? And then you will go pursue, you will succeed eventually, promise. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Ramesh, to some extent. Sahaj is saying thank you. Glad. Saurav is saying thank you. Thank you, Saurav. Okay. Akarsh is saying first year student, full stack development. Okay, Akarsh, like I said, go understand your passion, right? Make websites for people who need one is not a passion, right? See where, first of all, I think these kind of solutions are already there to a lot extent. So go and try to find a problem which is, I would say, or find a different solution to a problem, right? And typically find something which you're passionate about. Okay. Meher saying thank you, Meher. Naveen is saying best languages for beginner. Naveen, like I said, maybe C or Python. Akarsh is saying, okay, thank you, Akarsh. Okay, Akarsh. Okay, sorry, I read this now. Okay. Rakshit Singh, thank you. Financial, definitely Rakshit, sure, definitely. Dipanshu Singh, security, not coding things. Okay. Security, we have a webinar. There is a person called Suhang. He's very passionate about security. So maybe you can watch his webinar one, and maybe you can get in touch with him also. He has a startup called $0 Security. So Dipanshu, maybe if you come in my touch in LinkedIn, I will definitely get you in his touch, Suhang. Okay, Dipanshu. Akarsh, thank you. Naveen, thank you. Great. Thank you, guys. So I think that's it for today. If no questions, we will call it a meet. Good night, guys. It's well past midnight. Have a good night's sleep. Have a good weekend. Great. Thank you, Dipanshu. Sounds good. Thank you, Sumit. KGP का टेम्पो है रहेगा हमेशा. Okay, guys. Bye bye.